welcome into Vols Society Live on this Wednesday night. My name is David Morrison. I am the Vols Society analyst right here on the Vols Society Network. Don't forget to follow us, facebook.com/UT Vols Society, for all the latest in Tennessee athletics, whether it is football, basketball, baseball, softball, tennis, whatever. We got you covered right here on Vols Society. Also, welcome in to our viewers on YouTube on our YouTube page. We're closing in on 100 subscribers on our YouTube channel. So please, not only like our video, but please subscribe, and we'll try to send a link out and to add some more subscribers. Like I said, we're growing this Vols Society network by leaps and bounds all across your favorite social media platforms. Also, you can leave us comments, questions. The chat room is open, so leave your comments and questions, as I mentioned, and I'll try to answer as we go along with the show tonight. I got a lot to cover tonight. We're going to talk about Tennessee baseball, as our founder, Brad, says. How about those number one volunteer baseball team? Number one in the country. First time in school history. The Danny White effect is real, folks. And also Tony V. We should give all the credit to him, too. But we'll recap the Ole Miss dominating, sweeping weekend down at Oxford at Swayze Field. Fantastic weekend. I know Ole Miss tried to break out all the big guns in Lane Kiffin, and we'll talk all about that, especially that Friday night game, which was a lot of fun. We will preview another big series coming up this weekend as the Tennessee Volunteers heads to Vanderbilt, as I mentioned, to take on the Commodores. They are currently ranked in the top 10, so a big weekend series. Tickets going for $200 this weekend for Tennessee and Vanderbilt baseball. I mean, I don't even know anybody spent $200 on season tickets for Vanderbilt football last year, let alone just for this weekend. So it should be a lot of fun. Matter of fact, the Tennessee baseball team right now is playing Western Carolina. Last I checked, 25 minutes ago, they were up 8-1. So, like the Tennessee baseball team playing a midweek game, getting ready for the big weekend in the Music City against Vandy. We'll preview that. Also got some spring practice reports. Tennessee football team going full pads this week. We'll talk all about that. And plus, I'm going to borrow a copy from allfortennessee.com. They're talking about 5 position battles to watch out for during spring practice this week. And then we got some basketball news. A couple of Tennessee players hit the transfer portal this week, and also have a basketball recruit, decommitted from Kentucky after being committed for them for 18 months. We'll talk all about that as we wrap up the show tonight. Absolutely. If you're watching us live, please participate. Ask us questions, leave us comments, like our video, whether you're on YouTube or on Facebook. Like I said, let's get this show on the road. Like I said, got 5 viewers in here, so go ahead and, like I said, leave any comments as we go along with the show tonight. Here we go. Tennessee and Ole Miss. Big weekend down in Oxford. Like I said, Ole Miss was excited about the Big Orange coming in. Of course, Ole Miss last weekend was the number one team in college baseball. Like I said, Friday night was a big night for them as far as hype and stuff. They brought their football coach, Lane Kiffin, out on the field for the first pitch. Was going to throw, of course, the ceremonial first pitch, which is traditionally a baseball you throw. Well, he tossed the baseball aside and pulled out a yellow golf ball. Obviously, we know what happened last October at Neyland Stadium, the chaos that pursued at the end of that game. So he tossed the yellow golf ball, and, of course, it got trending, and I text Brad, our founder, that Friday night while I was watching it, and they ran with it, but it did not faze the Big Orange at all. Friday night, a 12-1 Tennessee victory. And like I said, just unbelievable. And a lot of the hype coming in from a lot of the media thought, is this Tennessee team for real? Can they handle the hostile crowd at Swayze Field? Like I said, one of the toughest places to win in college baseball. The entire weekend, except for Sunday when we talk about, did not phase them at all. So let's dive into this Friday night game. Like I said, after a scoreless first inning, Tennessee got red hot in the second inning, scoring 6 runs. Led it off with Evan Russell with an RBI double, which brought in Drew Gilbert to score. And then Cortland Lawson, RBI triple in the second. Brought in Christian Moore, Trey Lipscomb, and Evan Russell. And then Jared Dickey, a 2-run homer in the top of the second. Already Tennessee's up 6-0 as the fans just finally finishing their first plate of nachos. We go to the 4th inning. Luke Lippius with a solo homer. Tennessee up 7-0 against Ole Miss. Ole Miss played terrible the entire Friday night. I mean, even going back to that RBI triple by Cortland Lawson, the center fielder, like I said, Lawson got a big hit on it, and it was going into dead center, and the center fielder was right there at the warning track. Unfortunately, well, I guess fortunate for us, unfortunate for him, ran right into the wall. He fell down. The right fielder had to come pick it up and throw it back in to field the play. But like I said, Tennessee was already doing the damage. 5th inning, Trey Lipscomb, and we'll talk about Trey Lipscomb's numbers in a few moments. Just ridiculous what he's done so far. A breakout star on this Tennessee baseball team. He hit a 3-run homer in the top of the 5th inning that brought in Drew Gilbert and Jordan Beck home. And then the 6th inning, Jared Dickey with this second home run of the night. And then Ole Miss in the 7th inning had a home run from Elko, like I said, trying to make some sort of a comeback. And then in the 9th inning, an insurance run for the Big Orange as Blake Burke hit a solo homer in the 9th. Tennessee went on to win over Ole Miss 12-1. Brad's talking about Ben Joyce, 104-mile-an-hour pitcher. Yeah, I'll talk about him in just a second. But before I get to Joyce, I'll talk about Chase Burns really quick. Chase Burns goes to 5-0 on the season. Went 7 innings pitched, 2 hits, 1 run, 11 Ks, no walks. Big time performance for Chase Burns. Mark McLaughlin and Kirby Connell did great in the bullpen. And this Tennessee bullpen is just deadly. Brad's already mentioned big Ben Joyce. Ben Joyce is averaging 100-plus mile-per-hour pitches every time he's coming in. Now, like I said, he's a relief pitcher, so he's not going to be in long. But, I mean, he looks like a Rollis Chapman out there who's famous for throwing 100-mile-an-hour pitches. I mean, it's just ridiculous what he can do. Through 104 against South Carolina a couple of weeks ago. I mean, just an unbelievable talent. And it definitely has a great future ahead. And like I said, I'm sure some a lot of stuff coming. Thank you, Vol State loves my hat. Appreciate that. I think I can't remember exactly where I bought it, to be honest with you, off the top of my head. But I thank you very much. I think I may have been a Christmas gift now. Think about it. But thank you, Steak. Like I said, for those watching on YouTube, yes, you can go ahead and leave a comment in the live chat. Like I said, I have the chat room open with me, and go from there. Yeah, I love it. Thank you. As far as the shirt go, I finally got my SEC tournament basketball shirt. Finally came in from Fanatics after kind of being lost in the world of logistics, which I know a lot about. Going to be. And thank you, Brad, for mentioning that. Someone's going to win the cap this weekend. Like I said, the national championship game, the Final Four is on Saturday. National championship game's Monday. So after Monday night, we should find out who's going to win the official SEC championship hat, the one that the players wore when they won the SEC championship 3 weeks ago, I believe. And Steak says he's going to get the shirt too. It is an awesome shirt. Feels very comfortable, even with like I said, it's more of a darker gray, but I don't feel like I'm burning up in it. So it's a really cool shirt. All right, jumping back into on Saturday, Tennessee won 10-3. We'll quickly go through the highlights. Pretty much it was like Tennessee piled on runs in the first inning, 4th inning, 5th inning, 8th inning. In the first inning, Tennessee got off red hot, led 2-0, thanks to an RBI double by Drew Gilbert and an RBI single by Trey Lipscomb. Jared Dickey had a sac fly in the second, made Tennessee go up 3-0. Russell, with an RBI single, went up 4-0. And then Seth Stevenson had an RBI double, made 6-0 Tennessee. And the fifth inning, RBI double by Trey Lipscomb and Ortega an RBI single. Ball State says Swain event is changing to the sports animal. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Those who may not know, live outside of the Knoxville area, the Sports Animal 99.1 out of Knoxville's one of the flagship stations for the Ball Network. Like I said, Jason Swain, former Tennessee wide receiver, it's kind of, I think he does stuff almost like a internet radio show, and now he's going to a big time right there. And he says it's going to be weird because I listen to the Swain event every morning. Yeah, we love we love Jason Swain and a lot of good media outlets. I know Brad's got his favorites too. Like I said, Tennessee piled on the runs in the eighth inning with Drew Gilbert with an RBI double. Then he ended up scoring on a wild pitch. Ole Miss did have some runs in the eighth and the ninth inning, but it was done too late. Tennessee went on to win this one 10-3. Chase Dolander goes to 4-0 on the year. He went 6 in the third inning with 10 Ks, 1 walk, 3 runs. Ben Joyce ended up playing in that game there, Brad, the 100-mile-an-hour pitcher. He was one of the relief pitchers along with Maberly and Wyatt Evans. And then the rubber game on Sunday, Tennessee had a close one, 4-3, the final score. Brad says, David, can you ask Vol Society if they would appreciate a Vol Society podcast coming to this football? Yeah. So we had some requests last week on the show, and we kind of talked about it behind the scenes too. We are thinking about starting a Vol Society podcast coming up this football season. So if we're trying to figure out if you will be willing to listen along, particularly during the football season. Like I said, we're thinking about having not only just me, but our founder Brad and another co-founder David Dees, kind of talking about Tennessee football. So if you're interested, please reach out to us, see if we have some interest in it. We would love to do it. Like I said, this is kind of our, I guess it's more of a vlog or video podcast. It's just me only. But like I said, we would love to have some of our other voices from the Vol Society to kind of give their opinion. Like I said, Brad is our founder, and he's a lot more entertaining than me. He's very humorous. Like I said, and he can bring energy. We've seen a lot of his stuff video-wise. It's vlogged and be cool. Vol State says he listened to Tony Bustelo. I was trying to think of Bustelo's name. Brad's a big Bustelo fan. He listens to him religiously. Even Paul Feinbaum, even though he's a Bama lover, but still has a soft spot for Tennessee. Yeah, I mean, he graduates there. And Brad says, let us know if there is interest in doing a podcast coming up. Like I said, in the summertime before football season, of course, even during football season break. And Brad says Bustelo is a great guy. Yeah, matter of fact, Brad got on his show last year as a caller. I just remembered. Like I said, Tennessee won 4-3 on Sunday. A little bit of a closer game. Like I said, Tennessee jumped out to a 4-0 lead. RBI triple by Gilbert, RBI ground out from Lipscomb, and Lippius with an RBI double. And then Ole Miss ended up hitting a 3-run home run by Dunhurst. But like I said, Tennessee got the save thanks to Redmond Welsh. Drew Beam goes to 5-0 on the year. And we mentioned last week, Burns, Dolander, and Beam all undefeated this season, the weekend rotation crew for Tennessee. And after this weekend, they're now combined 14-0 on the year. That is awesome. This pitching staff is loaded, not only with the starters, but with the bullpen. Mentioned Ben Joyce, Camden Sewell relieved on Sunday, Kirby Connell with the mustache and all, and then Blake Tidwell. Like I said, Blake Tidwell, he was on but he was reserved this weekend coming off an injury, but Tony Vitello didn't play him. And for those who may not know, Blake Tidwell is a preseason All-American who hasn't got to play this year due to injury. And according to Tony Vitello, it looks like he's going to start in the bullpen. Brad says we have the best social media. we're the best for social media content. I think so too. But yeah. And Stake says Lane Kiffin is assessed with Tennessee. He would leave Ole Miss in a heartbeat to come back. Probably would. There's no telling with O'Kiff. But like I said, Tony V mentioned Blake Tidwell just going to start in the bullpen. No need to break up that weekend rotation just because he started a lot of games last year. He's a preseason All-American. Doesn't want to break up that right now. And I think Tidwell understands that. Like I said, Tennessee is red hot right now. Right now on the year, 23-1, 6-0 in SEC play. Like I said, getting ready to take on Vanderbilt this weekend. So Tony V knows what he's doing. I mean, and like I said, he's going to put the best players out there on the field each and every game, and I really appreciate that. And he knows what it takes to win. Mentioned Vanderbilt this weekend in Nashville. Friday night and Saturday night's games will be televised on your old school television, if you call that. Friday night will be on ESPN2 at 7 o'clock, I believe, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock Friday night on ESPN2. So basically the nation gets to watch on Friday night. Should be a lot of fun. Saturday night, 8 o'clock on the SEC network, and then Sundays on the ESPN app at, I think, 2, I believe. So like I said, Tennessee and Vanderbilt should be a fun weekend of college baseball. Key player to watch out for Vanderbilt, kind of looking at them. Dominic Keegan is hitting .422 on the year with a .735 slugging percentage, 5 home runs and 25 RBI. So we'll keep an eye on that this weekend. And then some Tennessee, as far as who's leading the team in baseball right now on the baseball team, Drew Gilbert's right now hitting .469 on the year. Trey Lipscomb is just putting up ridiculous numbers. Leads the team in hits at 34, 10 home runs on the year, which leads the team. Also leads the team in RBIs with 44. Just an outstanding breakout player that, while he was on the College World Series roster last year, didn't get a lot of playing time, but now he is really having his time to shine at this moment. Chase Burns is leading the team in ERA with an 0.80 on the year. Burns and Beam both have 5 wins on the year. Dolander leads the team in strikeouts at 54. Ball State says, everything Tennessee sports are looking so good. I really have a lot of faith in our AD after all, especially Josh Heupel. Love him, and Rick Barstow. Absolutely. I mean, we've mentioned this many times where Tennessee athletics was pre-Danny White. And like I said, he's only been on the job less than a year and a half. And all the changes that have been made, we talked about with baseball, transition to football, to basketball, and now back full circle with baseball again. The renovations going on. Currently at Neyland Stadium, putting in a Jumbotron in the north end zone, which I am so excited about. Like I said, our founder, Brad, is a big Carolina Panthers fan. Matter of fact, season ticket holder. We, as the Vols Society, went to a game last December, and he was talking about having them 2 Jumbotrons is a big game changer, and I agree. Like I said, being in the south end zone, if you're sitting in the south end zone, you always got to turn your head and look at the score, and it's kind of a headache. And, of course, if you're on the opposite side, it's no big deal. But now having both of them, it's going to look really good. Of course, you're going to have club seatings and all the luxury and stuff. I really hope whenever we tee it up against Ball State that in the south end zone, where most of the time my seats are, them bathrooms have got to be fixed down in the south end zone because, like I said, for those who don't know, there's still troughs in the south end zone, and them bathrooms probably haven't been remade since the late 1970s, and that's not a joke. Really hope they get them fixed or updated or something. It's just, I mean, you got to be, I mean, it's just, that's a big eyesore. Steak says, it's amazing to be a ball fan nowadays. It was so frustrating in the Pruitt. Absolutely. I mean, yeah. Like I said, with the allegations and going back to the 2020 season real quickly, not only you're dealing with COVID and the short season, but the allegations and the McDonald's bags, and then players not fully performing to their best ability, and Maven Pruitt and Garantano. And now 1 year later, we don't see that coach on here, Brett says. Yeah. but like I said, with Heupel, it's just the winds have changed. Okay, never say his name. All righty. But like I said, the winds have changed, and I even noticed it too. And we mentioned Donnie Plowman, Randy Boyd on here all the time, and Danny White. And the culture right now is just so much better. They really want to see Tennessee athletics succeed everywhere, not with football or basketball or baseball, which is, the three big money maker. Well, women's basketball, the Lady Vols brings in a lot of revenue, a lot of popularity. But your three money-making sports in the NCAA, football, baseball, basketball, are all trending in the right direction. And then a lot of your Olympic sports and some of the other money-making sports are all getting in there. And when Danny White was at UCF, I don't know how many, I can't remember off the top of my head, easy for me to say, they have down at Central Florida. But when Danny White was at the AD at UCF, all of their sports at one time was ranked in the top 25 in the NCAA polls. And like I said, the football team, when he was down there, went to 2 New Year's Six bowl games. Both men's and women's basketballs was in the NCAA tournaments. And their baseball team was doing well. And now we're seeing it come up here at Knoxville. Six says, our rivals are hating us again, and that's a great thing. Absolutely. I mean, I think Ole Miss felt that this weekend. Like I said, even with football, I can't wait for that Florida game, because if this is the year to finally snap the Florida streak, which I know we won back in 2016, but to beat Florida and beat them bad, this is the year to do it. They got a new head coach, and they got a quarterback in Anthony Richardson, which we don't know too much about. Still trying to figure out this team. Like I said, Tennessee already went through that first-year process, overseeded their expectations. You get them at home in a brand new Neyland Stadium renovated. Brad says Tennessee will beat Florida this year. I think we will beat Florida this year, no doubt about it. And I was actually looking at their schedule, Tennessee schedule recently. Right after that Florida game is our bye week before we head down to Baton Rouge to take on LSU. So that's, while I don't really like having a bye week that too early, but if you beat Florida, you're going to be celebrating big time, obviously. But then you got that extra week to celebrate that Florida win, and then go ahead and prepare for LSU, because you got LSU and Bama back-to-back weeks, which Bama comes to Knoxville also this year. So that may be the best time to have a bye week. Now, we'll see what happens, and we'll definitely know a lot about Tennessee going into that Florida game, because you get ballot tested early on with Pitt, and Florida actually opens the season at home in the Swamp against Utah, which is one of the more better Pac-12 teams. So we shall see. While we're talking about football, we'll go ahead and dive into spring practice. So I find my notes about it. Here we go. So I basically ripped the top 5 off from allfortennessee.com as far as like spring practice positions, battles to watch out for. They mentioned at number 5, return specialist. Losing Velus Jones Jr., like I said, one of the best return specialists Tennessee's had in more recent memories, probably since Evan Berry. Like I said, he's off to the NFL, which Tennessee had their pro day this week also. So who's going to fill Velus Jones Jr.'s positions? They kind of threw in Jimmy Holiday, who has some return experience a little bit. They also mentioned Dylan Sampson. So it's kind of up in the air. I'm not really too worried about who's going to return kicks at this moment, especially on kickoff returns when they go into the end zone anyways. See, Steak says, I work with a lot of Kentucky fans, so I just love how Tennessee has been owning them and everything. Absolutely. We're pretty much owning the Bluegrass State right now in everything. Especially, I even love beating Coach Cal every year. Another position they talked about, backup quarterback. They mentioned Taven Jackson may challenge Joe Milton for the backup spot. I don't know. I still think they're probably going to redshirt Jackson, and they're going to wait till 2023 and have the battle with Nico and Jackson for QB1 next year. But like I said, I think Milton is probably going to be your backup, and then Jackson, of course. Hendon Hooker's our starter day one. Right tackle they mentioned, which I agree with. Right now, the offensive line, as it sets, Darnell Wright is now at left tackle, Jerome Carvin at left guard, Cooper Mays at center, Jerome Spraggins at right guard, and right tackle they kind of threw in a bunch of names. Gerald Mincy, the transfer from Florida, could be considered. You also have Dane Davis, freshman Addison Nichol, Jeremiah Crawford, another name. So that's going to be a really big battle to me is who's going to start at right tackle for Tennessee. Like I said, a lot of names kind of thrown out there. Like I said, you still got spring camp and fall camp to go before we kind of find out who's going to start at right tackle. Defensive tackle is another position they talked about. You got Latrell Bumpus coming back, Elijah Simmons, Amari Thomas, who pretty much kind of was starting a lot of games towards the end of the year. Also mentioned freshmen Jordan Phillips and Tyree West. Tennessee, like I said, losing Malcolm Butler, which obviously he was a senior, and now he's going on to the NFL, is a big loss, obviously, especially for leadership. So could be interesting to see what happens, but I have trust in Ronnie Gardner, the best defensive tackle best defensive line coach in the nation is here at Tennessee. He sends guys to the NFL, and we're gonna hear Malcolm Butler's name next month at the NFL draft. From Tennessee, like I said, going to an NFL team. We'll see where it goes. Like I said, probably Thomas right now, just because he had the experience towards the tail end, but I can see them kind of rotating guys in and out at this point. And then they mentioned wide receiver. Obviously, Cedric Tillman is wide receiver number one. So glad he's back. Jalen Hyatt was kind of that number two, but at times he was kind of lost in the shuffle, didn't really break out at times, but he wasn't terrible either. They mentioned the two Jimmies, Callaway and Holiday, and then the freshmen, Squirrel White, Webb, Chase Nimrod, Cam Miller. I expect a lot of freshmen to kind of be in there. Brad says Ronnie Gardner's quote this week: "The players ain't coming here to win 7 games." I love it. He gets it, and this coaching staff I think gets it. They didn't come here to win 7 games, so I'm excited. I'm so glad Ronnie Gardner is on our staff and even back, because obviously I'm sure he got a lot of phone calls in the offseason to come elsewhere, but. Really, we didn't really lose any coaches except for Cody Burns, which he ended up getting an NFL job. And so kudos to Josh Heupel really keeping his staff intact for the most part. Brad says he can't wait till football. Yeah. Also throw in another position battle, and that's defensive backs. And unfortunately, Tennessee's already down 3 defensive backs out of spring practice. Brandon Turnage, Caleb Webb, and Deshaun Rucker all out for the spring, and that's to me probably the most concerning part, not having them 3 DBs going in spring practice, especially you lose Alontae Taylor. You got Warren Burrell coming back next year, which he's okay at times. So who's going to be kind of being on the opposite side of Warren Burrell? Can they get healthy, obviously, by fall camp? And then once game time rolls around, can they make the stops they can and cover as best they can? I'm not saying go out there and be all American, but just do the simple things right. So defensive back is going to be, to me, kind of the concern going into spring practice and probably going into fall camp. But like I said, we're still a few months away from football, but like I said, this is probably one of the more exciting off seasons for Tennessee football in a few years at least. Probably the last I can think of it is right before the 2016 season when Butch was still here, and we had Dobbs coming back and Kamara, and actually, is my poster up there from 2016? I used to have a poster back here of that 2016 schedule. I can't find it right now. But anyways, but like I said, I think it's going to be even more hype up since then. So, but we shall see what happens in there. Some basketball notes to talk about. Two players hit the transfer portal. One's already pretty much out of the transfer portal. Victor Bailey Jr. hit the transfer portal for like 1 day and announced he's going to play with his former assistant coach, Kim English, at George Mason. So we wish Victor Bailey Jr. all the best. He helped out when he can at Tennessee. No hard feelings with him. And then Brock Jansen also hit the transfer portal. He hasn't announced where he's going next year. He's getting his degree in May. So we wish both Brock and Victor the best as they continue their basketball careers. And like I said, both are going to get their degree in May. And then we had a player decommit from Kentucky. Steak mentions about Kentucky. He works with a lot of Kentucky fans, so you can rub this into your coworkers. Sky Clark, one of the best combo guards in the nation, and I actually heard this story yesterday on 104.5 The Zone out of Nashville. They have a live stream video on their Facebook page, and I tune in from time to time. That's where Ron Slade is working down there at 104.5 The Zone. Anyways, he mentioned Sky Clark. He's a combo guard from Nashville, but he's playing at Monteverdi Academy. Hope I said that name right. Down in Florida. But he was committed to Kentucky for 18 months from Coach Cal, and then decommitted and opened his enrollment up and announced the 6 schools that he's looking at. And it's kind of all over the place too. But the 6 schools he's got now is Illinois, Louisville, Maryland, USC, Washington, and Tennessee. So, as far as us possibly getting Sky Clark, maybe. I think it all depends on what happens with Kennedy Chandler. I still think Chandler's going to hit the NBA draft. There's some people said he might come back for another year, which could help his draft status somewhat, but I think he's probably going to go on. You also got Zykeir Ziegler coming back at Tennessee. B.J. Edwards is another guard, although he's a bigger guard than Sky Clark is. So, we shall see. I mean, anything can happen. I can see it happen. It wouldn't shock me if Sky Clark does decide to come to Tennessee. But if not, he goes to Illinois or Louisville or Maryland. Like I said, Louisville and Maryland's got new coaches out there, so trying to change the culture. He may go to the West Coast, either at SC or Washington. But we shall see. We'll keep our eye on it, and if anything happens. Like I said, he is a 5-star combo guard, and then 4-star on like 24/7. So should be very interesting. All right. That's really all I've got. Like I said, another busy week for Tennessee athletics. Tennessee baseball team sweeping Ole Miss. Getting ready to defeat Western Carolina right now, and then getting ready for Vanderbilt this weekend. Like I said, Friday night's game, you can watch it on ESPN2, Saturday night on the SEC Network. Like I said, should be a fun weekend. Tennessee can continue to ride that momentum that they've had so far. Like I said, undefeated in SEC play. How long can that wave hold up? And hopefully we don't get sunk under. Like I said, spring practice still going on. Tennessee's in full pads right now. Orange and white game coming up. Not this weekend, but the next. Of course, it's closed to the public due to the renovations at Neyland Stadium. A lot of recruits coming in this weekend. Not this weekend, but the weekend of the Orange and white game. Nico's going to be back in town. He's bringing in Kyler Casper, a 5-star wide receiver who's right now crystal ball projection to Oregon. You also got Carnell Tate, a 5-star wide receiver, coming in that same weekend. Right now, the favorites are going to be at Ohio State. How can we watch? Talking about the Orange and white game, Brad? Anyways, they're all coming into Tennessee that weekend. I think that's what you mean by that. So, like I said, the dominoes are starting to fall. The Orange and white game. I think what I heard, they're going to set up I don't know if it's going to be at Circle Park or Volunteer Village, which is across from Neyland Stadium. I think they're setting up a big, gigantic screen, and you can bring lawn chairs and kind of watch it from there. Of course, there's a lot of sporting events that weekend. I think Tennessee baseball team's playing Missouri that weekend also. Softball's at home, tennis, track and field. All the spring sports are at home. And I think they're doing a viewing party at either Circle Park or Volunteer Village. Like I said, right across from Neyland Stadium where all the tailgaters are at. So if you're interested and you can want to watch it, you can go up there. I'll try to get a little bit more better information next week for that. But like I said, a lot of events going on. Excited about Tennessee athletics. We'll continue on. Like I said, don't forget facebook.com/UT Vols Society. We want to follow us along. If you are interested in us doing a podcast for the football season coming up, once football season gets here with me or Brad or whoever, reach out to us on our Facebook page, DM us, whatever, saying yes, let's do a podcast. Like I said, I enjoy doing the Wednesday night shows, but like I said, a lot of people listen to podcasts. I listen to podcasts. Matter of fact, mowing the grass today listening to one, and I listen to it at the gym, and Brad does the same thing. And I think that can really take our Vols Society brand to the next level. And like I said, you folks have really helped us out. 5,000 subscribers on Facebook, almost 100 followers on YouTube. And Brad's wife has her own podcast. If you're into true crime stories, Brad's wife Megan has her own podcast called Tea Time Crimes or Tea True Crimes. Excuse me, Tea True Crimes. Her and her friend does it, so it's not kind of a break away from Tennessee sports and stuff. So if you're interested in that, check it out. Like I said, we would love to do that. Tea Time Crimes. Thank you, Brad. Tea Time Crimes is the name of it, of the podcast. Should be, like I said, please reach out if you are interested in it. But that's going to wrap it up for us tonight. We'll be back here next week. Recap the Vanderbilt series. Like I said, we'll dive more into spring practice, news and notes, recruiting wise, and anything else. Like I said, thank you very much for everybody tuning in. Had some great viewers tonight. Thank you for the likes and loves and stuff and our chat room is filling up. And like I said, we will continue to roll along, and we'll talk to y'all next week. And don't forget, if you're entered in the March Madness contest, whoever wins gets the hat. So please, I think we'll announce the winner early next week who won the SEC championship hat. So make sure you tune in and see if you did win, and then we will reach out to you and send the hat your way. But until then, this has been David Morrison for Vols Society Live. We'll check y'all out. We'll talk to y'all next Wednesday night right here on the Vols Society Network. Have a great night and go Vols.